For most of those who are engaged in waste management in MENA region, the provision of waste directives and the elaboration on the main messages that I mentioned in the last video wouldn't be of much help. And that's why I was not planning to leave it there without further discussion. But before I do that, let's try and establish two main facts. Fact number one, the directive is an obliging law for all the member states in the European Union, and each member state has to abide with these rules. Moreover, the European Union even makes sure that the associated countries sign similar environmental obligations to those in the directives, even before they become members. And the failure to comply with the directives may lead to negative consequences, including the delay or revision of the financial support programs for the incompliant member states. The second fact, each member state cascades the provisions of the directives to their relevant designated authorities who have to develop and approve the executive plans and initiatives. Now, these plans would have two main directions. One is organizational and the other one is economic. Let's try first to explore how the European countries reformed their waste management organization to comply with these directives, because I believe this experience is of great value to us here in MENA region. So, the European countries found out that most of what they used to do pertaining waste management was no longer valid to deliver the required outcome that would be compliant with the directives. Therefore, they were compelled to go through the following transformations. Transformation number one, moving from decentralization to centralization. Let me explain. Municipalities or any other designated authority named by the EU member in compliance with the directives stopped being service providers who outsource municipal services and consume budgeted funds to clean streets and move the waste out of sight, but fully accountable organizations for ensuring the delivery of the main objective set by the European Council and the European Parliament to ensure compliance. These authorities stepped up to exert influence on all waste management objectives. And do you remember what this means from the previous videos? It means that they became the real waste management entities. Other service providers became approved contractors who provide services in full compliance with the local authorities' rules and regulations. So, there is no room anymore for good ideas. There is no room for attractive commercial offers to recycle one or another material with good returns to the investor or even the government. There is no more awarding tenders to the lowest bidder just because he is offering the lowest price to deliver the service. From now on, any participant has to fit in the big picture and contribute to the list of environmental and recycling deliverables that are set by the local authority or the municipality. Now, the second transformation, the identification of all waste life cycle stakeholders and participants. Each waste generator, service provider, waste treatment facility, and operator is defined, monitored, and controlled. The first participant, of course, is the waste generator. So now the waste generator has to be registered, his waste generation rate has to be defined, and he is monitored by either being provided with a separate waste container, a digital key to access the public waste bin, maybe a marked waste bag, marked official waste bag that he can buy from specific shops, or any other way seen appropriate by the authorities. In this way, each waste generator is traceable and can be held accountable in case of any violation. This transformation is most valuable as it allows to enforce any plan of actions and make addressable awareness programs that can guarantee the quick turnarounds. The next participant is the collection and transportation. So collection and transportation now has to be tailored to meet the needs. From the moment the municipalities and the local authorities were burdened with new and specific recyclables and bio-waste collection targets, they had to rethink totally the collection and the transportation infrastructure and logistics. The single bin or container became obsolete, but the multiple bins for different types of wastes requires more space in the front yard. And at the same time, containers were not applicable for apartments, hotels, and similar institutions. Collecting each type of waste bin and containers on a daily basis would be an unthinkable hike up of the cost, and the public would never accept such situation. Eventually, the local authorities and municipalities had to follow one of these processes, if not all combined. First, each house owner should get different bins for different types of waste. Usually, you would get one bin for the bio-waste, one for the recyclable containers, one for cardboard and paper, one for the general waste, or maybe different combination. That depends on the municipality and the country. Second, if apartments don't or can't adhere to this rule above, then they either get different types of official bags that can be traced back to the waste generator, or get a traceable key to access the relevant public waste collection container. In this case, cardboard and paper can be put out for collection in a specific time and place scheduled by the municipality. Third, residents also have the possibility to self-deliver some types of waste to the recycling centers or collection points conveniently distributed in various locations. Now we finish with the collection and transportation identification. We come to the treatment method identification. So now, treatment methods have to align with the anticipated targets. It is not anymore the privilege of the private sector or the investor to offer or build processes that generate the best return to the public, to the private sector and the investors. The local authorities now approve the type, the capacity, the technology used in any waste treatment facility within their jurisdiction. Moreover, in some cases, the municipality would choose to send the waste to other municipalities where the appropriate technology and capacity are available to reduce the cost and ensure the right sequence is followed and waste hierarchy is duly addressed. From the treatment, we go to the final stage, which is the disposal. So the disposal methods are also regulated and controlled. The landfill life cycle became a very well-defined process, including stringent sanitary and environmental design requirements, with strict waste acceptance criteria and transparent reporting system. The fourth transformation is what I call the peeling off method. Let me explain what I mean. If you ask any MENA waste professional to mention one most distinctive waste management method that he knows and is practiced in the European Union, mostly he will mention what is called separate collection or source segregation, or he will use any terminology that refers to the same thing, the non-mixing of different types of waste. Well, actually, this practice has a deeper context than it would seem from the first look. So to maximize resources utilization and in the same time minimize waste to incineration and landfill, the whole waste supply and value chains were pushed to create a sort of multi-layer system where certain type of material is skimmed or peeled off at each layer. And all this is done to ensure the compatibility with recyclers' requirement or to reduce the recycling cost and finally to improve its recycling economics. The first layer is the bio-waste that can be recycled relatively cheap if collected separately, and in the same time leads to improving the other recyclables quality by reducing their moisture and oil content and improving the calorific value of the remaining material. In the next layer, all the resources that can be mechanically recycled are peeled off to be sold to the recycling companies, or if we're talking about the European Union, mostly exported to other continents for recycling. Now, the remaining material is used to produce energy, either indirectly by producing alternative fuels like RDF, SRF, or biomass, or directly by incineration with subsequent production of electricity and heat. Last layer is material that goes to landfills. And the only material that is allowed to be received at the landfill is the material that has less than the minimum specified calorific value. I believe in most of the cases from my research, this minimum is 7 megajoule per kg. Now, the fifth transformation. It is the creation of a comprehensive reporting system. And I believe the best way to evaluate the tremendous work that has been done by the European Union, central authorities, and the member states is to once visit the Eurostat website where researchers find their paradise. Tons of information with all details are available for any user around the world. The data is available per country, per material type, per treatment method for the period starting from 1995.